Hi, well, this is Chaplain Carol Uselman. Welcome back to our series on preparedness. What I'm going to demonstrate now and show you is a kit that I put together for leaving. This is for you've gotten an evacuation order. It's time to load up the car and go. And I have a couple of them. This is the kit that does not have the food in it, but it has other items. As you notice, there's a towel in there. I've got a New Testament. I have a mini sewing kit, a notebook. These are some ideas you might want to take. This is a big water container that folds up small. This had the it's over here. This is a solar powered phone charger and cord that I carry in this kit. I happen to have this in here. You wouldn't be allowed to have a camping type fixed blade knife in all different places, but I just happen to have one in here at the moment. So this, you have to check your regulations. If you're staying in a shelter, you can't have a blade like this at all. Here's an adventure kit bag. Here's a little waterproof bag that's got a number of small items in it. Small rolls of duct tape, a little bitty GI can opener. Small items that could easily get lost in a bag like this. I have got a rain poncho. Here's another container that I have some other light odds and ends in here. These little stuff sacks are really handy for that, for things that don't want to get lost. I have a bandana. Bandanas are really helpful. You can use them these days. You can use them as a mask, cover your head, around your neck, filter water, all kinds of things. Here is another bigger water container. I have a first aid kit, and we'll talk about first aid kits in a minute. These are handy for winter, and you might want to keep a good supply of them. I have them all over my house and in my cars. Hot hands are these heat things. If the heat goes off in your house and you're cold, I had someone ask me, well, how do I, if I'm only heating one room, how do I heat up my bedroom? And I said, well, put a sleeping bag in the room that you're heating and sleep there. And she kind of looked at me like, I'm going to sleep on the floor in a sleeping bag? Well, you can put this in your sleeping bag or put it in your bed. Use them like a hot water bottle. And a hot water bottle isn't a bad idea. Heat up some water, put it in a bottle that you can seal up, put that in your bed, and it will keep you warm. Hot hands. I have them all over. I have a hygiene kit. Hygiene kit, very important. Here is a kind of a sanitation kit. I've got some antibacterial hand wipes, toilet paper, a trash bag, and some other, there's some feminine hygiene products in there. And ladies, don't forget that. I have a good size chunk of paracord. This stuff is wonderful. This is one of the 7 wonders of the world. Pair of gloves. This is a packable camp pillow. I believe this is a army poncho liner. Commonly, no, it's not. This is clothing. This is some extra clothes. And depending upon what season it is, you might want to change them out periodically. Hand sanitizer. These days we buy it in bigger bottles. Here's some bug spray. I live in the South. We have bugs. Here's another headlamp. This is a small sleeping bag. It is fleece. A fleece sleeping bag. It's a small one. Compact. But it'll keep you warm. I have a small lantern. You saw the other one that I have? Here's a small one. Light is important. It gives you hope and comfort. And batteries. This is a SOL Survival Medic Kit. And this is a little item that has a lot of survival items in it. This is the basis of every survival kit and every emergency kit that I own. One of these, I have them all over the place. It has, as well as some medical supplies, it also has things like a whistle, a way to start fire, an emergency blanket, duct tape. It's got a button compass and a safety pin and some painkiller and some Band-Aids. They're a wonderful little kit, and the price is really very reasonable. I have some water purification tablets, a roll of Gorilla Tape, a pen. I put a shovel in here. I'm not sure why at the time, but I did. This is a trifold shovel. I have a 6x8 poly tarp, another extra emergency blanket, and another 6x8 tarp, so there's 2 of them, and a plastic drop cloth. And all of that is in this plastic bin that I got at Lowe's. So it's easy to assemble with some of the ideas that we've given you, something that you can just grab and put in your car. One of the things I haven't talked about yet that I will discuss in the next video are some other additional items that normally stay in your house that in an emergency you can grab, throw in your kit, put it all in your car, and go. And so we'll be right back. Hi, I'm Chaplain Carol Uselman, and we're continuing on with our building a go kit or an evacuation kit. One of the things I want to talk about are important papers. They need to go with you. If you are leaving your home because of an emergency, you need copies of the following documents. Your Social Security cards, and you can make photocopies of these. Your Social Security cards, passports. I would take your passport. Insurance policies, birth certificates, medical insurance cards, copies of credit cards, marriage licenses, auto titles, and photos, birth certificates and Social Security cards for your children, photos of your kids. That's really important. You might also want to have some inventory documents. You might want to include your wills, copies of your will, copies of any living wills or medical powers of attorney in case someone is injured or hospitalized and your family separated. Now, you might also want to have $200 to $300 cash per person to take along, even if you're able to use plastic at a hotel or a motel that's somewhere a distance from the disaster or from your home. One of the places that's easy to collect that information and gather that information that I found a book on Amazon and I bought it, and I'll be starting to fill this out personally for myself. Emergency Survival Kits. It not only has items for this gear, but it has places to record emergency numbers, where your city hall is. If you have pets, you want to have copies of your pet licenses. And also, if you have pets and you're evacuating, you want to have your dogs leashed and their licenses on their collars, and cats in a crate of some sort. There are shelters available in large emergencies for people with pets, or shelters for pets, where there are trained people to be taking care of your pets while you've evacuated to a shelter elsewhere. But you have to be able to claim them. So a photograph and information pertaining to your pets is really important as well. Just by way of books, this is another, you can get this on Amazon. I just got a copy a while ago. This is also another one of my favorite preparedness books because it has pictures of real-time stuff and a lot of good information in it. I have a whole bookshelf, in fact, bookcases of books on preparedness. And this is the one for beginners or for people that are new to preparing, and you don't want to go live in the woods for 3 months, this is really a handy reference. The Disaster Preparedness Handbook by Arthur T. Bradley, PhD, and Amazon has it. One thing I didn't include in these kits when I was talking about it, because I already had it sitting out, is this is a wind-up powered radio. You can get them sometimes that are either wind-up or you can charge them if you've got a wall socket, and some of them are even solar powered. This is a very handy device to have. If nothing else, you need one of these. This is a Midland. I think I bought it at a sporting goods store. They're really inexpensive. This is a NOAA weather radio. It takes just a few AAA batteries. You have to change them out every once in a while, keep them fresh. But you can set this and it will automatically, I need batteries in this, it will automatically lock onto the closest place that is giving out NOAA weather emergency information. This is really handy if you've been told that you're under some kind of in the spring, like under a tornado watch. Turn it on and do it so it only makes noise to alert you. Put it in your handbag or someplace, because when it goes off, it's loud. But then you know that danger is imminent. So it's really, these are very inexpensive, small, compact, handy to have. This is a good thing. If you get one of these books, you want to have a plan that's written out for where your family is to meet, and your children need to know about it. That if the family gets separated, there is one relative outside the area that everybody contacts to let them know that they're safe. You can pre-plan this, the whole family together, along with extended family. And use text messages with your phone. It takes a lot less power, and you can get a text message through even if there's a lot of traffic on the cell system. So these are just some handy ideas as you put together your own go bags and preparedness kits. Hello, this is Chaplain Carol Uselman, and continuing on with our preparedness series, I'm going to talk a little bit about first aid kits. I am not a first aid Red Cross instructor. However, I put together my own kits. I have taken a Stop the Bleed class, so I know a little bit about using a trauma kit. I am not an expert, but I've put together kits for my own personal use. In my go bin that I showed you all earlier, I have a simple first aid kit. Now, if you buy commercial first aid kits, look very carefully at the contents, because for the most part, most of them have a whole lot of Band-Aids. They'll say, oh, they've got all these components, hundreds of components. And what you get is a whole fistful of foreign-made Band-Aids. They're not, there are certain brands that we're all familiar with. In fact, I just used the brand name as a generic name for a bandage. We all refer to them as Band-Aids, but different qualities of different components. So into these kits, I usually add things. I have some scissors in this one. Sometimes they come with that. I have added some medication of my own for my own personal use. I put in Tylenol. I put in some cold medication. I have always nitrile gloves. They usually come with the latex kind, but nitrile is far better. And you can wad them up real small and put them in these little plastic pouches, and they fit just about anywhere. In here, this is a general, what I would call a boo-boo kit. There really isn't anything. There's a hot hands in here. I do have some Quick Clot Sport in here. This is a gauze pad that for persistent bleeding, now I'm not going to say it's severe bleeding, but persistent bleeding, you put this on first, then you take a gauze bandage, start to wrap it around. You put this on with pressure, gauze bandage, put it on. I've got some other different sizes of gauze bandages. And I would recommend that everybody take a minor, take a basic first aid class, or if you cannot get to a class, watch some YouTube videos. You can learn almost anything in YouTube. You're learning right now on YouTube. And so I will go ahead and learn some of those techniques for basic minor first aid. And that's what this bag is for. And that's what and there's plenty of room in this particular pouch. This started out as a commercial, bought off the shelf bag that I added my own things to. And there's plenty of room to add more things, and yet it's compact. In my vehicle, in each vehicle, I have 2 vehicles. In each vehicle and my camper, I carry a trauma kit. This is a trauma kit is different than a first aid kit. Sometimes there's some overlap. You can put some first aid items in your trauma kit, but this is a trauma kit. One of the differences between a first aid kit and a trauma kit is a trauma kit is put together specifically to stop severe bleeding. And when I'm saying severe bleeding, I'm talking about blood that's spurting. When you look down at somebody who's bleeding and say, "Oh my God, that's a lot of blood," and it's pumping, sometimes you have as little as 3 minutes to get that blood stopped, depending upon where the wound is. A human being can bleed out and die in less than 3 minutes from a severe wound to an artery, and that's that bright red spurting blood. And so I carry a tourniquet. I have been trained on how to use one. I took a course in it. Take a class. Every March is Stop the Bleed Month, and check with your local hospital or local EMT crews. Oftentimes they will give to the public free Stop the Bleed classes, and they talk about tourniquets. They show you how to use them. Tourniquets hurt. I had one put on me when I was learning this, and so I'm absolutely prepared to know that when a tourniquet's applied, it's going to hurt a lot, but I'm going to save my life or save someone else's life. Some of the other items that go along with tourniquets are pressure bandages. I have some in this trauma kit. They're commonly, I don't have one here in this kit at the moment, but they're often called Israeli bandages. It's a pressure bandage. That's for blood that's not spurting. You put pressure on, and then you wrap tightly to get that blood to stop until you can get somebody to help. These kinds of quick clot products, these have a blood stopper in them. They're either granules. This one happens to be, this is a sponge. It feels a little like it might have unsponged itself though. Feels a little granular. I have to check that. Where you put that on first and then you wrap it with a pressure bandage. I have a number of sizes. I do have a few like small Band-Aids and a few medications in here, but very little. That's what that kit is for. That's not what this kit is for. This kit is for bad, bad wounds. And so there's different kinds of trauma dressings and commonly known as Israeli bandages that you put on that make pressure. As I said, take a Stop the Bleed course. Often in March they're offered by hospitals and local EMT units. Take one. They're for civilians use. We live in a dangerous world, and these kinds of wounds can happen at any time where you come across somebody who's bleeding profusely, and you're the one on the scene, and you have to know what to do until help arrives. And they will teach you what to do. Also, take a CPR class for our chaplains. That's kind of a requirement. They may also teach you how to use an AED machine, which are the ones to start your heart. They're now found in airports and shopping malls all over the country. So it's handy to know these skills so you can save yourself or save other people or assist other people until professional help arrives. So we'll go on from here, and thank you for watching all these videos and learning. And I really wish you well as you start to prepare for to take care of yourself, your family, and your loved ones, and your community in whatever emergency may arise.